Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, and we are here to wake the world up to what's possible for healing. I have some healer expert authors here today to talk about a new book that we have coming out called High Vibrational Wellness: Intuitive Healing Therapies to Nourish Your Body Temple. Before I introduce them to you, I just want to say a huge thank you to Lainey Savante Wolkin. Lainey is the lead author of this gorgeous collaboration, and she had such a big vision and mission to bring these experts together to really talk about what it means to live a higher vibe life. And we're going to talk about it in all the ways. Lainey, thank you so much for what you're doing in the world, and thanks for getting this stellar group of experts together to talk about these subjects. So I have Carolyn Nicholson Fowler with me. She's an Usui, is it Carolyn, or Usui?
Usui.
Oh, thank you. I knew I needed help there. Usui and Karuna Reiki Master Teacher and Medical Reiki Master through RKMRI. You'll tell us what that is. Founder of the Peaceful Healing Reiki School and owner of Peaceful Healing Reiki. I also have Daryl Mountford here. She has practiced mindfulness regarding shifting our brain's mindset for over 10 years. And Nydia Lesa Stone is here. She's a global somatic therapist and coach, a master teacher of the healing arts, yoga, and tantra, and accredited holistic healer and passionate guide of your transformation and joyful living. Get ready for this ride today, you guys. Carolyn, you're going to start us off and tell us about this beautiful chapter that you wrote.
Thank you, Laura. I'm really amazed that I'm even doing this. Writing was not on the horizon for me. My chapter is chapter 15, and it's about being an instrument of peace. I see myself as a tool for the divine. And the subtitle is, How Can One Reiki Session Change Your Life? And that is what happened to me. I got into Reiki after the death of my older son. And that kind of profound grief, well, you don't think you're going to live through it, much less heal from it. And Reiki came to me a couple months after that, and it was so powerful and so transformative. It's been 15 and a half years since that date, and I'm still learning, still practicing, and I'm so passionate. I want people to know that the worst can happen, and you can not only live through it, you can thrive. You can find joy again. It's possible to heal.
Was it the feeling of grief inside that you were getting the most benefit from the Reiki for? Was it other things?
It started as a grief healing journey, but it became so much more. It brought synchronicities, it brought people, it brought opportunities into my life I didn't even know were available. It's just been an amazing journey. This energy healing.
It is. It's magical. And I love what you just said about, opportunities you didn't even know could be. And it just makes me think actually a little bit of Daryl's bio with the, brain's mindset, the mindset. Like once you wake up to, oh, there's stuff I had no idea. Right. And then that changes everything. What else were you coming upon? Like what excited you during that time? Give us an example.
Well, as I started treating people, you can't guarantee miracles because the energy is not yours, it's just flowing through you. But you start to see healing happen in other people. That's my heart, to see people physically heal, spiritually heal, mentally and emotionally heal. It's such a ride. Oh my God. And then they come back, and most of my clients turn into students. They're fascinated by it. They're the power of it. So.
I know that happened to me.
Mhm.
When I received, and then I'm like, "Can you teach this to me?" You know, and I was already a practitioner, but I hadn't done Reiki up until that point. Or actually, and maybe you'll comment about this. I think anybody who's doing hands-on kinds of healing is probably performing a version of energy transfer.
Oh, yeah.
And Reiki, we can call it a lot of things, right? But having the intention and the training was important. You want to talk about that just a little bit more?
Well, when you learn about Reiki, which is, as she said, just one form of energy healing, in Usui Reiki, you're trained to feel with the hands the biosen, which is Japanese for, uh, no, I'm going to blank. It's Japanese for sick accumulation. You
Mm.
feel an energy density over where there is stagnant energy in the body. And you, to simply put it, you get the chi moving again for optimal health.
Beautiful. That was a perfect explanation. Carol, thank you for Carolyn. Sorry. Carolyn, thank you for saying yes to this. And thanks for being here today to share.
Thank you.
In the craniosacral and myofascial world, they called those energy cysts, which I found
Oh,
interesting. Yeah. And that is exactly it. Your description was perfect. You can train to understand, feel where
mhm.
they are, and it's quite a profound thing for so many reasons. Daryl, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi, thank you for having me on. And like Carolyn, I want to say a big thank you. And I'm honored to be a part of this book and appreciate Lainey asking me to be a part of it. So my chapter is called Conquering Negative Thoughts, and it's chapter number 17. And I've been a nurse for over 20 years, and being in the medical field and being a natural healer and an empath, I encountered so many patients along the way that carried very negative thoughts within themselves. And I've always been a glass half full person. I've always been, let's look on the bright side. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do that. But it wasn't until I had to face my own medical crisis, let's say, that I understood how people can sort of become enmeshed in those dark negative thoughts, and never thought I was somebody who would succumb to those. And my subtitle, which is Nourishing Your Soul with Meaningful Mantras, is all about how to re empower yourself and take back control of what you tell yourself. Your mind is more powerful than you realize. And I had to take it step by step and rewire my brain to say, no, you are all these wonderful, positive things. And it really became a passion of mine, to help other people see that in themselves. And you are not the negative things that you tell yourself. And you can break those patterns. You can take back control of your life and make it 100 times better than you ever thought possible.
And I would say from experience, you can do it no matter what. I want to play devil's advocate with you for a minute,
Yeah.
but um, mindset is a powerful, powerful tool. And if I had learned it much younger, wouldn't that be interesting? But
Hmm.
in the past year, with 2 herniated discs and being flat on my back for 9 months, I had yeah, the universe, like, you're benched, Laura.
Hmm.
And I got to have another level of understanding and training and practice. Really, practice is the best word. What else do you want to tell people about that? Like, when they're in pain, it is hard.
It is very hard. And that
Yeah.
was my situation. I was in daily pain, and I had to break it down to the simple things. The littlest thing that was a win for me, I celebrated. You have to start small, because if you really try to do too much too quickly, you're just going to fail. And those negative thoughts are going to come right back in. So I celebrated the small things, what I could do one day, but I couldn't do the other. I forgave myself for that. I didn't beat myself up. I treated myself with grace and kindness. And it's once you celebrate the small things, then you can start to celebrate the bigger things and reinforce those positive thoughts. The days that you don't have as much pain, it's a big win, and be proud of yourself and the things that you were able to do that day.
I grabbed on to, as I laid on the floor and stared at the ceiling, I also grabbed on to, wow, the sun looks so beautiful coming through the window right now. Like there's always something around you, and there's probably lots of things around you that you can bring in to raise the vibe, right?
Absolutely. I think you start to appreciate the things you take for granted, like that. Being able to go for a walk, being able to sit outside and enjoy nature, laughing with a friend, any of those little things that we just take for granted. If you're still able to do those things, that's a huge plus. And that's what kept me motivated. Was I tried to focus on less on the pain and more of what I still had and I could still appreciate.
Daryl, thank you for being here and sharing with everyone. I love that topic so much.
Thank you.
Nydia, how about you? Nydia. Yes, I have your name written down today, Nydia, as Lydia. So I looked at the Lydia and I'm thought, wait, I said the right thing, didn't I? Nydia, tell us about your beautiful chapter. Thank goodness, right? I don't know. Tell us everything.
Yeah, so I write about kintsugi, the Japanese concept of fine arts and philosophy. And kintsugi, the golden lines of integrative healing arts. I use them for alchemizing sacred scars into serenity and joy for radiant rebirth. So this is the title and subtitle. And so I came to this kintsugi very, very early in my life by a completely intuitive incident, which I write about in my story. I used to live in India and study therapy and yoga, meditation, tantra. When I was just a very young girl, 18, 19 years old, I came to India. So, and I had an experience where I intuitively used the concept of kintsugi on myself in a very when all of the trauma that I had very well suppressed and put down in my little basement and in my catacombs, when it got triggered by many things that happened to me in India, like a spontaneous Kundalini awakening when I had no idea about what that even is, and about all the studying about therapy. So that brought up all of this turbulence and made things rise that I'd rather not look at. And so kintsugi was for me a very somatic experience at the river where I had to get in, or where I did get in touch with my body, my skin, and that triggered all kinds of stuff in me. And I kind of reversed. I managed to, however, be guided and give this also kind of at some point give the whole process over to the divine and just trust what was happening that was so overwhelming. But I just said, okay, just let it happen. And I think I could do that, yeah, because I was already like in this whole spiritual and energetic makeover in a way. And so only afterwards, when I had painted myself and illuminated my scars, or what I considered my scars that came from the inside manifesting on my skin, then I met a Japanese student named Takashi, and he said to me, "You look like a kintsugi sculpture." And I said, what's that? And so he explained me, and that resonated so much to me, this concept of illuminating our flaws, our imperfections, our brokenness in a way, instead of hiding and putting it away, because this is what makes us shine. This is what, when we go through all of these challenges, we go through all of these heartaches, all of what happens to us all in life, we grow, we expand, and we get stronger, and we can be proud of that. We can wear these scars like illuminated. We can say, yes, this was what was happening to me, and I'm through it, and I grew with it. So this is for me kintsugi, and I have it in my life. It's in my matrix, this kind of aspect, and this kind of dealing with what we feel. Oh, we are broken. We are not normal. We are somehow damaged. We are. We can just shift this within us and give it a different perspective.
It's a beautiful concept. If you guys haven't looked this up, to see a visual of the pottery, which is how I think of these pictures that you see online,
Yeah.
you know, and the gold coming through the cracks of the pottery, they fill it with gold. And I love that visual of what Nydia is talking about. Nydia, thank you for sharing this work, but just giving us that idea that there's something different to do with our trauma that may even be something that changes other people. Like it could be life-changing for other people when we embrace this.
Yeah.
So just a quick thank you to all three of you too. It's quite one thing to do what you do. You're all master teachers and you're serving people every day. But then I gave you that challenge of putting this into black and white in a book and giving people a practical experience with your magic and your beautiful work. And you did such a brilliant job with this. So thank you, all three of you, for that. Daryl, I want to start with you for this next question. When we think about this journey, we think of it as a holistic approach. All of our book titles come from a foundation of a holistic approach. So for you, why does that matter? You know, why holistic?
Well, it's interesting having come from a medical background, which we are very focused on disease. We're not really focused on the holistic. My experience really shifted that to how our thoughts feed our whole body. They feed us not just mentally, they feed us physically, they feed us emotionally, and they feed us spiritually. And you can't heal properly if you're not feeding your whole entire body, every emotion, every aspect of it. And so it was very eye-opening for me to start to bring that into how I cared for my patients. And I think we have to look at things more on a spiritual level and not just treat people for their symptoms.
That's a great way to kick off that question. There's so much to this particular question. Thank you for that. You're just making me think of something like, I can eat the best organic, plant-based, perfect diet in the world, but if I hold anger every single day and I'm not dealing with it, it probably won't matter what I eat, right? So I just wanted to give that a practical voice of what Daryl just said. It's like, you gotta look at the whole picture. Nydia, how about you? What's your answer to why holistic? What do you want to add?
Mute myself. Yeah, I think holistic for me is already in the word. It's the whole, right? So it's holistic, means all of our, I mean, we are not just like a physical skin and bone being. We are so many, we have so many different bodies. And I think this becomes now today kind of common understanding. So we have our emotional body, we have our energetic body. So if we just treat the skin and bone part without even questioning where the symptoms that our body gives us as a language, as a sign, as a message, where that might come from, and go beyond the symptoms, beyond the physical, we will probably not find the real reason why we have certain diseases. And so for me, holistic is to really consider and go questioning towards the roots of symptoms. And as you said, I mean, if you can fix the physical body or give it lots and lots of wonderful nutrition, if you don't nourish your heart, if you don't nourish your emotional and spiritual body, your energetics, if you don't like clear out all of the residues of traumatic events stored in our systemic heritage, in our energetic heritage, we carry that, and that will just always have its influence no matter what you do to your physical. That's the last part in a way. We can use this emotion into thought, into word, into action. It also by going the other way, like going from the outside to the inside, and get knowledge about that, and cure and heal things from the inside, from where it starts.
How Nydia
So
is
for me,
talking
that
about
is
it.
holistic.
Yeah, and how you're talking about it is, it fills me with this message to everyone. Listen to all the possibilities for healing that have been talked about so far. Like, you've been to 10 doctors and you can't find the answer. You may have just heard an answer right today. Like, how can you get to the root? You also made me think of something funny. It's similar to, like, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't be angry. So what, you ever see the sign that says drink more water? Y'all have seen that company, Drink More Water. And I just chuckled to myself. I thought it needs to say drink more water and scream into a pillow once in a while. Like, like, and express yourself. Like, it just, there's so much more to health and wellness besides all the stuff we're told all day long. Carolyn, how about you? What do you want to add to the holistic conversation here?
Well, like Daryl, I come from a medical background. I'm a former paramedic and worked in a doctor's office. Western medicine is in a shambles right now. I see people falling through the cracks, and they're tired of just having chemicals shoved at them. And nobody has time in corporate medicine now to look for the cause of the problem. We're just treating symptoms. People are frustrated, and that's why this book is such a godsend, because people are looking outside the box now. They're looking for energetic ways to help themselves. They're willing to try things that maybe 10 years ago they wouldn't even have considered. So I can't add too much more. Daryl and Nydia said it beautifully, but people are ready for this. This book is just an answer to prayer for so many people.
Thank you for adding that. It gets me so excited. I so agree with you, and I see it all around, and people are asking more questions. They're questioning their doctors.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, wait a minute. They're pausing and really listening to that advice and questioning it. Hallelujah that people are doing that.
Amen.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love thinking about that. Some days it doesn't seem like that's happening, but I do see it around me more and more and more. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that. Okay. So if you were going to peek in the window and see me living high vibe, like, what does that even mean, you guys? For me, you might see me sitting on the patio. I'm definitely outside in nature. I'm connecting. I'm probably barefooted. I've got a journal and a pen. I'm maybe in some meditation, or maybe in a poetry writing, meditation, something, right? Essentially, I'm quieting my mind and I'm trying to connect to my senses. That's me. One of the ways, one of the tons that you all could talk about, right? Nydia, if I was going to look in your window, what would be one of your favorite ways you want to share with everybody how you live high vibe?
It's a shame you can't see what I look at when I look out my window, because since I'm about 17 years old, I was drawn to all of these high vibrational places, and I followed that calling. So this made me a global nomad ever since. All of my life, I'm traveling kind of along these ley lines and energetic lines and high vibrational places. They attract me, and I live in nature. For me personally, I am very nature bound. I'm like almost 24/7 barefoot. So if I can be, then I strip as many clothes as possible. I live in tropical climates. I live between Bali, India, Fiji. Now I'm in my little casita in Dominican Republic, in the jungle, just above the sea. I hear the sea, but I have the colibris come onto my patio. So I live in this nature. So what you would see if you looked in the morning, and the first thing I do is I step outside. I put my feet on the ground. I greet the sun on my skin. I listen to the sounds, and actually I'm grateful. I count my blessings, and this is a very big one for me, to just really realize how privileged I am, how privileged we are to choose life, to not have life impact us in a way that we would not at some point have the freedom to have our choices. We are in this situation, we are in this privilege. And I think this is a very big freedom that we don't often realize, because we feel so much prisoner, or so much victim of our circumstances, which we are not. And this is what I would like. I always like to share that and give everybody this this authority feeling, this sovereignty, sink into that, and realize how it's me. I make my choices. I choose what kind of perspective I want to apply onto my life, onto what's happening, and how I want to respond. That's the biggest power we have.
Beautiful. Thank you. Carolyn, how about you? If we're going to take a peek, what's one of the ways you practice living high vibe?
Well, I connect with a Reiki every single day and my guides and angels. And I study. I'm a studier. My books are like my best friends. So I'm always learning something new. You find me reading or watching Gaia television. I'm just fascinated by energy and dimensions and quantum jumping and all of the crazy, great stuff that's happening right now, that's out there to study. I tell my students that there's two things that make a superpower this day and age, and that's if you have peace and if you're calm. Those are superpowers, and people feel that when they walk into my home.
I love that. I love that so much. I wanted to write it down. Peace is a superpower. Of course it is, right?
And calm, yeah.
Peace and calm. I love it. And with awareness, we get the choice, going back to what Nydia was saying too. So I'm choosing peace and calm way more often than I ever did in the past, really purposefully pivoting in a bad day or whatever. It's all perspective anyway. My bad days are small compared to some bad days, right? So mindset, which gets me to Daryl again, like, right? Daryl, you're going to close us out today. Tell us a little bit about your practice.
So for me, if you were to look into my window, it's very different than it was 10, 12 years ago, where I was the giver. I was always taking care of people and I never put myself first. And it wasn't until I was crippled in bed that I had to learn self-care. I had to learn how to care for me so I could still do my job and care for others. So for me, it's listening to my body, it's listening to my mind, it's listening to what internally I need for that day. I can't just push things away anymore and not deal with them. So self care is a huge thing for me. So if that's sleeping in a little bit and then sitting outside with a cup of coffee in the morning, that's what I do. If it's, I need to sit and meditate for 20 minutes, that's what I do. But I always try to start my day with a thank you that I can get up and face my day. I can get up and do what I need to do that day. And if I can't, that's okay. I've learned to be kind to myself and take the good days with the bad, because you always learn something. And I love what Carolyn said. I have my nose in how can I continue to grow not only myself, but help empower others. It's such a huge thing for me. So yeah, I think we all have to learn how to care for ourselves in order to keep giving to others.
You know, part of mastery is being a lifelong learner, I think. And I think all of our authors are that, and they love learning. And of course, this book is full of beautiful stories that will be healing to you in and of themselves, but also some practical tools you can read and practice. And then I want you all to know this is so much more than a book. It is a very generous community of experts who are ready to answer a question. Reach out for support. They're ready to help you on the journey. So to all of you today, authors, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here today. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do drop down into the notes underneath the video, because all of the authors are hooked up with their sites. Go explore. They are up to some pretty cool things in the world, and they are there to answer those questions and give support, you guys. So please check everything out. You're also invited to come to the book launch party. We're going to have a Zoom on July 18th with all of the high vibrational wellness authors. So you'll find information down below about the party. You can come celebrate with us. And if you happen to be listening to this anytime after that date, then just hop over to Amazon, because that means the book is ready and you can grab your copy of this amazing book. Lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.